There's so many books on so many things that are well written and well respected that I thought, who needs another book? There are a lot of good horse books, and whispering is all of the popular lingo for today, so why should I write one? Well, the key is I think this is a very unique blend of life, of horses, and of what's happening in our culture, and of the ancient truths, the trustworthy truths of the Scripture, and how they're to be seen in the context of relationship. We have a lot of cynicism toward what's seen to be religion or pop Christian culture, and this book provides not only a entertaining and real connection, but it's also have some pithy, substantial stuff in it that people can hook into and say, I relate to this guy, I relate to what's taking place. I never thought of it from that perspective, and that's a healthy interjection in our culture. Writing this book for me was about like starting to film Sermon on the Mount years ago. People suggested it for years, and I was very reluctant. I was even more reluctant to want to write a book. First of all, I'm not a wide reader of books, and so I thought I'm going to be a major hypocrite to write one. But friends and my buddy Donnie Rosie, he put me to the task of saying, you need to write some of this stuff down, and I dismissed it for a while. But the truth of it is I began to realize that some people learn visually, some people learn auditorily, and some kinesthetically, and I thought a book, though it's not my first area of reading or learning, is very much the first for others. And we need to put these things down, and then it gives them the power to transfer it to others. And it also puts it more in sound bites and transferable truths and digestible illustrations that all come at you too heavily in a real live presentation, and they can take it home and digest it. So I thought this was a great way to encourage and support people at home. When I first was engaged with my co-writer, Bob Smetana, I was looking for the chemistry that would help us get these stories told. I'm a better illustrator than a storyteller, and I'm prone to teach and illustrate otherwise. Bob had a wonderful way and a very casual way of helping me relax and put forth a lot of my own history that I didn't even remember or bring forth in some of my own stories, and I appreciate that about him. And then we got great reviews and great encouragement, and of course that's like Sikkim to a fellow that's trying to get something done. And now I begin to realize that there's a whole new venue to really speak truth and life and encouragement into people's lives through a book format, that I'm actually already excited about another level and for the series we'd like to write, because we really believe in encouraging and supporting the people that are out there that are going through great difficulties and trials in their lives. And so we're hoping that this book will allow people to gain new hope when there's so much oppression against it. Chapter 3 starts right out and tells us about a difficulty that I had toward my father. Actually, it was my stepfather at the time. I had lost my dad when I was a child. And the crisis of trusting him was soon revealed in the horses that I was working with. And of course, every child has some potential conflict with their father or their mother. And how was God going to use this in light of horses to have some greater good for my life? That was really perplexing. But ironically, the pain that I experienced there led me to build some relationships with some other men in my life, and we begin to illustrate how God actually becomes a father to the fatherless, and the horses are the background web that connects us together. It's pretty interesting as I look back on it. It wasn't at the time. Chapter 6 introduces Barry, Paul's little red Barry, as the horse that was going to have a great impact on my life and make me learn some lessons that I didn't want to learn. He was a beautiful colt and a gift to me, and I had every hope and promise that he would do well. But at a certain stage in his training, he reached a plateau. When I tried to get him past that with all my resources and knowledge, I was reaching a barrier that I couldn't get past. I consulted with other friends and professionals, and they said, you know what, I just don't think he's going to do it. Get another horse. But I was trapped because I knew that God had given me this colt, and I was to learn something from him. And while he reaches this performance difficulty, I learn a lesson from him that you'll read in chapter 6 that gets him past this plateau in his life and makes him a great star. Only after the fact, several years after the fact, did I learn what was impeding him. I was humbled in the process, but I learned a unique character quality through Barry. Chapter 8 tells us some more stories about horses that are in terrible crisis, and how through the trust of their trainer and the intimate relationship with the trainer, they succeed in a potential disastrous problem. What a faith builder. What a reality for us to learn. How do we build right-based faith in our lives? After many episodes of life and illustrations and a variety of horses and stories, we start to narrow it down by chapter 11 of what the real conclusion and purpose of this book's about. The real purpose and the real hope for desire is that people have a fresh perspective of what the relational gospel is all about. How, like a trainer entering the arena of a horse, especially one that's been untouched or handled, now we see that God entered our arena, spoke our language, addressed our needs, came along and comforted and encouraged us and helped us to take those steps of faith, to trust in Him, to elevate, like the horse, to a place of partnership, elevate us to a place of companionship with God, and that we would learn how to walk with God on a regular basis. So it's our hope for outcome that people will have a fresh perspective of the heart of God toward man. Though very hesitant to write a book, I wrote this book with the intent to capitalize on people's learning styles and the ability to take home small sound bites that they could reread, truths that were applicable for their own life and their own crisis, and also to help them apply things. Life lessons from a horse whisperer are designed to give people an identity with life, and through the illustration of the horse, the ability to go farther and deeper and more healthily process the things like the horse that will bring them to a greater place of performance and well-being in their life.